So, alright, I accidentally cut it out that time, so it froze, and then I was trying to get it back to the correct chapter. So we're at Matthew 13, and I'm going to read from, let's see, 29, and then we'll just continue on where it cut me off. But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And so the harvest represents the times of the end, the last days, the last day when Yahawahshi actually visit the earth with the angels, the death angels. Well, they're angels of salvation and angels of death. Because you're going to have the angels who are in those chariots, what you ignorantly call UFOs. You know, they're going to come back and revisit the earth. They're going to be a war in heaven. And that's that harvest time, meaning that the earth is going to be ready for harvest. Right? And that reaper is going to harvest the crop. Right? And the reapers, I should say, because it's going to be multiple death angels. It says, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. And the wheat is going to be the elect. All right, and then it says in verse 31, another parable he put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it becometh the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and lodge in the branches thereof. Right? So it's talking about that mustard seed parable, which the mustard seed parable, the seed, a mustard seed is one of the smallest seeds, if not the smallest, but it grows into this, gigantic tree, the mustard tree. Right? Let's see. Are mustard trees big? Yeah, see. So, yeah, I'm looking at a mustard tree on an image, and yeah, I mean, trees are obviously, some trees are huge, but a mustard tree, what it becomes compared to what it starts out as, is exponential growth. And that's basically how the men who are the good seeds that grow, that are actually the true prophets, the true teachers. That's why it says, so that it becometh a tree. And men, what are men? Men are likened unto trees in the Bible. All right, that's in Mark. Let's grab that real quick. I see men as trees walking. Let's grab that real quick. Because remember that, that tree, it's a metaphor for the men who are teaching this gospel properly with sound doctrine. So we go to Mark 8 and 24. And it says, and he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. See, so it's a parable. The trees are men. And then we can go to Ezekiel, I think it's 31 and 9. Yep. It says, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. Okay, and a regular tree can't envy another tree. It's because it's a parable. It's talking about another man. And in this case, it's talking about Adam. Adam in the Garden of Eden was envied by other men because he was that righteous tree. Okay, that righteous man. Yeah, he messed up following Eve, but, let's see here. Where was I? Matthew 13:30. Oh, 32. Read that again. It says, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and lodge in the branches thereof. Okay. So the birds would represent the elect. Okay, because let's grab Isaiah to understand. Isaiah 14:1. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right, and the reason I brought that out is because the strangers in this verse are talking about the Israelites, and the Israelites that cleave unto the men of the elect, the prophets. Well, they're gonna have, that's gonna be like that tree that is a place for the birds to lodge, because they're gonna come and they're gonna believe the prophets, so they're gonna have salvation eventually. The ones who believe this report, right? Let's grab that. Isaiah 53:1. Who hath believed our report? To whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? So who is believing the report of the prophets? And the answer is the elect. And the elect are the ones going to be, they're being likened unto those birds that have a place to lodge, meaning they have that, it's like shelter, or a refuge, a place of refuge. Matthew 13. Because eventually the elect, the ones that cleave unto Jacob's leaders, like we read in Isaiah 14, those strangers that cleave to the truth, they're going to have salvation, because they have been given the faith. They've been blessed with the faith from Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawahshi, to receive salvation. Matthew 13 and all right, and that's why it says, so that the birds of the air can come and lodge in the branches thereof. Like, the birds would be likened unto the people who are that repent, that believe the Lord's prophets, because of that small seed, that prophet was the seed. He planted a seed in the elect, and the elect nurtured and nourished that seed and became, the elect. Even though everything's preordained, predestined, you still have to bring it out of somebody, Verse 33. Another parable spake he unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Yahawahshi unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them. And remember, the reason why he spoke in parables was because this truth is not for everybody. I said in, I think it was my last lesson or a really recent lesson, Yahawahshi wasn't speaking in just plain Hebrew or plain Latin to them, which were those languages at that time, or plain Greek. Because why? Because it was only for the men that he was teaching, and he would expound in private with his disciples. He would explain and break down the parables, if just like we do. Just like right now, I'm breaking down these scriptures, and someone of the elect is going to listen and be like, oh, this makes sense. But somebody of the wicked, or a heathen, or a 2/3, they already may have shut the video off, because it's not for everybody. Verse 35. that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. And remember, who was with Yahawahshi and the foundation of the world? It was the Lord's prophets. And he says, it says, we're reading in Ephesians, I think it was Ephesians 1, how the elect were with Yahawahshi and at the, before the foundations of the world. So it's always been predestinated, preordained, pre-selected for the elect to receive this knowledge, for the elect to cleave to this truth. Okay, let's read verse 36. And this is when we're going to explain the tares, which that's the spirit. I said I was going to talk about the tares, but, I'm barely getting to it now. But here we go, verse 36. Then Yahawahshi sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. So they asked him, what do you mean by the wheat and the tares? Right? Because they heard it. And remember, it says the multitude went away. Because like I said, now he was in closed quarters, face to face, with his disciples, with basically his students, right? And they were asking him, what is the parable of the tares? What do you mean by that? In verse 37, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man, which is him, Yahawahshi. He's the one who scattered the good seeds, right? Because remember, we were with him since the foundation, the prophets along with the elect, and he started out as those seeds. We had the seed being planted. We had to be refreshed. Our spirits had to be quickened. Okay, so he's breaking it down. Verse 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Okay, the elect, which are Israelites. But we know that not all of Israel is going to receive the truth yet. Not until the kingdom. 2/3 of our people have to die. Let's get that proof in the proof that not all Israel is of Israel. I'm going to go to Romans 9. It says in verse Romans 9 and 6, Not as though the word of the Most High hath taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. All right? That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. And for this is the word of promise, at this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. All right, and the children that Rebekah had was who? Was Jacob and Esau. All right, so Esau, he's a seed of Abraham, but the promises, the blessings, the covenants, the giving of the law, the service of the Most High, this is all pertains and belongs to the Israelites. But then I read verse 6 again, not as though the word of the Most High had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. So not all Israelites are going to receive this truth, because they stay in the way of the heathen. All right, but we're actually not talking about the 2/3. We're talking about the tares, which the tares, they're not 2/3. They're actually the seed of the wicked, which is the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So let's go back. Matthew 13. and 38. All right, let's see. Because remember, Yahawahshi is in private with his disciples, and he's breaking the parables down for them. Just like in the same fashion, we do the same thing. We do these videos for the elect. We break down these scriptures for the elect. Matthew 13 and 38, the field is the world. This is Yahawahshi talking. He's explaining to them. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, the Israelites, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. All right. So the reason why the tares and the wheat look alike is because a tare is and now I'll give you the direct breakdown. The tare, you had during the time of, we can use the example of during the time of slavery in America, you had a lot of the slave masters which would go in unto the women, meaning have sex with them, and they would have children with the slave women. And the slave women would bear children. And, when even in this generation, in this day and age, if you see a so-called white man have sex with a so-called black woman, an Israelite, the children, oftentimes the child comes out just looking like a light-skinned black person, or, sometimes they still keep their melanin, but overall the tares come out. Like a good example, I'll give you two examples. There's a race car driver named Bubba Wallace, and also Lenny Kravitz. He's a musician, a rock star, if you will. So if you look those two men up, you'll find out, and do the research, you will find out that their mothers are so-called black women, but their fathers are so-called white men, Edomites. So remember, we know that in Numbers 1:18, it tells you, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Okay, so in other words, during Moses' the census that Moses put together, Yahweh commanded him to line him up declare their pedigrees of their families by the house of their father, because it shows you that there's no such thing as a mixed race. You're whatever your father is. So back to the tares, Matthew 13 and 38. The tares, like the examples I gave you, Lenny Kravitz and Bubba Wallace, you can look them up. They both have so-called white fathers, Edomite fathers, and their mothers are so-called black women, okay? But they both, if you look at them, they look like so-called black men. All right, so this is the example, this is the parable of the wheat and the tares. The tares look like the wheat, meaning the tares look like the Israelites. But those are the seed of the wicked one. You see that? Like we read here. Let me read it again. Matthew 13 and 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. Okay? So that's so you can understand. That's what a tare is in the Bible. Lenny Kravitz, Bubba Wallace, they both look like so-called black men from the outside, but they're actually Edomites because they're the pedigree of their father. Okay, the tares. And then another example, which I was just watching that show, or I don't know, the interviewer, his name's Vlad. He was interviewing another example of a tare, which I just found out right before. That's what kind of inspired me to do the lesson, because I watched the interview on Vlad, which is short for Vladimir. He's an Edomite. I believe he's a 1948 or a small hat, and he interviews a lot of Jake. And then he happened to be interviewing Lou Diamond Phillips, which was an actor. He played Richie Valens in the movie La Bamba, goes back in the 80s. Old movie. Good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch La Bamba. But anyway, Vlad was interviewing Lou Diamond Phillips, and I had never knew, but I was watching the interview, and it was revealed in the interview that Lou Diamond Phillips, which he played Richie Valens in La Bamba, he was he's Filipino, and his dad was a so-called white man, an Edomite, and they revealed that in that interview. I never realized that. I actually thought he was Hispanic, so-called Latino, but in fact he looked that way because he was a so-called Filipino. But it was like I say in the interview. He said, "Oh, my dad's white, my mom's Filipino." So he's a terror. Lou Diamond Phillips, Bubba Wallace, Lenny Kravitz, all are examples of terrors. Meaning they look like what you would call a so-called minority, but they're actually in the spirit and in the truth. They're looked at. They're literally so-called white people. They're Edomites. Okay. Another example is the two girls from Sister, Tia and Tamara Marbury. You look them up, same thing. They're terrors. Their father is a so-called white man. Their mother is a so-called black woman. So they, pedigree of their father is their true heritage, their true nationality, their true race. And that's what a terror is. You see, the terrors look like Israelites, but they're actually, basically, you could call them imposters, for lack of a better word, because they're not the seed of Israel. They're the seed of like it says right here, they are the children of the wicked one. Verse 39, the enemy that sowed them is the devil. Who's the devil? The so-called white man is the devil in the flesh. The harvest is the end of the world. There you go. I said that earlier. And the reapers are the angels. I said that earlier. Starting out with Yahawahshi. So you can say that it's arguable is in the folklore of the medieval times when they were talking about the grim reaper, they're really talking about that death angel, those death angels, which again Yahawahshi is going to be a death angel, whether you're able to receive that or not. I know that's a hard pill to swallow when you're coming from a pagan Christian background. You can't fathom our Lord Yahawahshi, which you ignorantly call him Jesus, being a death angel. Verse 40, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Right, those tares, like all those people I mentioned, those are example of tares. They're not going to have a chance of salvation. They're going, if they make it to that day of fire, the day of wrath, the day when Yahawahshi comes back and he doesn't meet thee as a man, he's in that heavenly, angelic, celestial body. Well, those tares and the heathen and the 2/3, the ones who are Israel, but not all of Israel is of Israel, like we read in Romans 9. All those are examples of people that are going to be burned in fire in the last day, in the last days, the day of wrath. All right, so shall it be in the end of this world. Verse 41, the Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth, meaning there's going to be lots of frustration in that day, because they're going to be thinking, oh man, why are we getting burned up? Why are those dudes, those Israelites, why are those, they call us niggas and spicks, why are those niggas and spicks going up in those UFOs, right? Because they don't know that those are the chariots. And then verse 43, then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. So who hath, and I'm asking you personally, who has ears to hear this truth? Who has ears to hear this knowledge? And the answer is the elect. All right. So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawahshi, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, And also want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. A shalom to the elect. May you endure unto the end.